Hi, and welcome back to our last segment of Mr. Hughes' virtual lesson. So today, we are going to get into the New Jersey signers of the Declaration of Independence. And with that, we will conclude our lesson. In a separate in-class lesson, we will get more into the document that we know as the Declaration of Independence. But now we will have all the background information, and I look forward to seeing you apply it in class next week. So to begin with, again, I'm going back to our Google Doc, our virtual lesson quiz, and you should have completed 15 questions. So at this point, you will be at step 4. The video itself will be uploaded shortly, and by the time you see it, the link to the video and the video itself will both be available. So, recapping, we've discussed the Revolutionary War battles. We've talked about the Declaration of Independence in general, but in very, very wide generalizations. And we've talked about common sense and how the Declaration applies, in addition to New Jersey geography and its role in the Revolutionary War. So with this last point, though, I want to get into New Jersey's signers of the Declaration of Independence and how they played such crucial roles in New Jersey government. So to start off with, how many signers did the Declaration have from New Jersey? Well, get your answer right here. Now, looking at any of these names, how many of them ring a bell? I've listed 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. How many of them are actually from New Jersey? Well, take a guess. Let's think about this here. We have Clark, and we may not be from Clark, but how many of you have played high school sports? Ever played a town or maybe a school named Clark? Yep, named after Abraham Clark, who is indeed a signer of the Declaration of Independence from New Jersey. In a couple years, you will be applying for college, and you may look at Richard Stockton College. Geez, I wonder who that's named after. Richard Stockton, one of our signers, the Declaration of Independence. Now, for the full list, you may want to go to ushistory.org. May even want to write that link down that I've highlighted, because it has all the signers of the Declaration of Independence by state. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and ta-da, I've got my 5 New Jersey signers. So not only that, this site provides information on each. So we have Abraham Clark, tells us where he was born, or when he was born and where he was born, his education, his work, and when he died. So it's kind of shocking. His occupation was predominantly a lawyer. Sheriffs at that time were considered lawyers, whereas nowadays we largely consider them policemen. But Abraham Clark, one of our signers, and a northern New Jersey man to the T, was one of the signers. Clark Street, which our school is not all that far from, is named after him. So going back, we've also got Francis Hopkinson. He's ironic because he didn't even live in New Jersey. He worked a lot in New Jersey and he commuted back and forth. But you could argue that he should have been a Pennsylvania signer. But because the U.S. District Court for the District of Pennsylvania also encompassed part of New Jersey, he had the opportunity to vote or I'm sorry, sign the Declaration as part of the New Jersey contingent. He too was a phenomenal lawyer, a phenomenal jurist or judge, and considered himself a good friend of Benjamin Franklin. You can find a lot of really great information using this site. And just to keep going down the trail, so to speak, we'll also find we have a minister. So one trend that's standing out, I would hope you would recognize, is what? Namely, they're all very educated men. Two lawyers, and now we have a minister. And in this case, John Witherspoon, elected to the legislature of New Jersey, Continental Congress. He too died, unfortunately, in 1794, much like his friend Stockton. So he had a rather great amount of success both as a professor and as a clergyman. And as he said, might note, he studied or he worked at the College of New Jersey. How many of you are considering applying to that college, perhaps? Very good school, and Witherspoon is certainly one of its biggest heroes. Then we've also got John Hart. John Hart's probably the most forgotten of the bunch. Why? He was a farmer and he died very, very shortly after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, 1779 to be exact. And his qualification to sign? Well, farmer, but some also just say landowner. He wasn't the most educated, but he served his family well, and he was a loyal patriot, having invited the American army to encamp on his farm, as you'll see right here. And finally, you have, again, our pal Richard Stockton. An incredible, incredible jurist, and well respected throughout the state, a member of New Jersey's Supreme Court. He too died not quite at an old age, but certainly not at a young age. In 1551 would have been a fairly older middle-aged life at the time. So altogether, you have some very, very bright men from New Jersey that would combine to sign the Declaration of Independence where again? Philadelphia. So, but the other names should ring a bell to you. Gwinnett. How many of you are baseball fans? How many of you play club baseball? Gwinnett, Georgia is named after one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence and is a baseball mecca for getting recruited because of all the different tournaments. Now, Morris. Governor Morris actually wasn't from New Jersey, yet we have a hotel in Morristown named after him. We have a town named after him. Jefferson. Geez, do I need to say any more? I think we've studied a lot about him. Adams. John Adams. Do I really need to say much? No, I hope not. Raise your hand in class if you need me to. And then we've got we've got Mr. Penn. Geez, wonder who he has a role in. University of Pennsylvania, state named after him. Kind of a lot of big things. Governor Livingston right here. We have a town in Essex County named after him, whom our school just beat in baseball pretty handily. I was very proud of you guys that are on the team. Nice win there. Haven't played Jefferson ever, but at the same time. So that's getting into one of the areas that I asked you a question about. How do we honor these individuals? We name schools after them. Jefferson Middle School. We have Clark Street, which is very close to our school. We have towns named after Declaration signers. Meanwhile, guys like John Hart don't get remembered all that well. There's an elementary school in Hopewell named after him, but beyond that, not all that much. So some of the signers, some would get forgotten in history. So based on the research that you can do by checking out that page, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to include that link for your own sake right here. I highly recommend you use it, and it certainly may prove handy. So take a look at that, and this can be used to answer these questions in general. So what you'll find also is that there's going to be a recap below that'll take you to a website called Socrative, and I'm going to show you Socrative real quick. Socrative is a site that allows you to take online surveys and tests. So you'll go to student login if you already have one, or create a free account. On the virtual lesson quiz, I'll have a class code, and I'll ask you to type in that code for me. So overall, again, great job today. Great job on all these lessons. I really look forward to seeing your work. And to recap, we have approximately 20 questions, and I'm going to make them 3 points each. So this is a 60-point quiz. That's fairly significant. Don't slack on this, but I don't think you will. Every single question I asked you is within the material I either said or on the page itself. Again, I will be available via email and in person beginning in class on Monday, and I look forward to seeing a lot of your work. So great job to recap. And again, so going over one thing from each, we're talking about the Declaration of Independence. We're talking about common sense. We're talking about the Revolutionary War battles in New Jersey. We're talking about New Jersey geography. And we're also mentioning the historical significance of the different men in the Declaration of Independence from New Jersey and from across the colonies. So hopefully you found this lesson useful. I hope you found that you were able to get a lot of this work done at home and that the videos were not too hard to access. And I really look forward to seeing your work again, which is all due, all work is due, as you'll know, by April 25th, 2015. Awesome job, and look forward to seeing your stuff, guys.